People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, Arsenal's first team will be playing later against West Ham, but yesterday, or better yet last night, our under-23s drew 2-2 against Brighton's under-23s, their counterparts. And it's been a bit of a slow start to the season now. Forgive me if I'm wrong. 2 games now against Southampton and Brighton, seaside towns. You know, we've been unfortunate. A possible 6 points, we've taken 1. So it's kind of been a bit of a stressful one. And we're going to need to fix up our ideas if we want to get our season back on track. You know, I'm sure in an ideal world, we win the under-23s title. We win the cup competition they're in. Obviously, you know, you keep performing at this level. Coaches talk. Arteta might give opportunities in the Premier League, or better yet, in the Carling Cup or EFL Cup, which is coming on Wednesday against Leicester. And, you know, that might be a chance for us to see Saliba in first team colours. As you lot know, we'll get onto it, but Saliba obviously played in this game and whatnot. Obviously, playing against a team like Brighton, you know what they're on, man. Connolly, we played against Connolly last season or so, and then he's got promoted to the first team. They've got Teddy Jenks. They've got a bunch of decent players. They're a good side. They're a good outfit at academy level at all ages. You know, they're a team to be feared. They're a team that play good football. So we knew coming into it, we're going to have to earn the right to play. We're going to have to show desire. We're going to have to show hunger. And I do think in large part, I think a draw is a fair result. You know, both teams conceded goals. On reflection, they would like to, you know, not concede. I feel neither team really dominated the game per se. You know, there was passages, like the second half we started off stronger. First half I'd give us the first 10. After that, Brighton made a meal of it, sort of thing. But yeah, there's positives. I feel, you know, Saliba for me on the right hand side, he didn't play amazing, but the positions he takes up, his speed of thought, his movement, really like what I saw. I think Balogun should have had a couple. I think the game was missing a Miguel Aziz or someone that has a bit more about them in the central mid that can, you know, kind of dictate the game, sort of thing. Saliba, lovely passes, lovely passing range. You know, he showed the good and bad of what it is. I feel, you know, first minute he showed one lovely cross-field pass, Saliba, to the left-hand side. But at times he was forcing that pass at time. Not necessarily that, but he's forcing the forward pass. And these are little things he's going to have to get out of his game, because before I even forget, I'm so sure for one of the Brighton goals, we'll get onto it, you know, it's actually his pass that kind of led to the counter-attack, which indirectly led to Brighton's penalty and them taking the lead. So like I said, man, I think early on we're playing decent football. I think Saliba looks like a decent acquisition at this level. George Lewis looks up for it. Ben Cottrell's buzzing like a bumblebee like he normally is. Our centre-halves look confident in possession. Balogun's running off the last man. George Lewis is there. We're playing decent football. Everybody wants it. We're knocking it about. We're not testing the keeper early on per se, but we're knocking it about and playing okay. I think the same can be said for Brighton, really and truly. I think Oli Yinka's working very hard in there. Literally, second minute, as I've said, you know, Saliba, some of his passing on show yesterday was ridiculous. Second minute was the pass I'm referring to. You know, they took the lead though. It really went against us, people. This is where you have to learn not to force the hard pass. You know, we're playing good football, we're doing good moves. There was even an incident, Saliba and Balogun linked up. Saliba worked very well. Balogun should have scored. You know, there was a couple of efforts, but I was surprised Balogun was not hitting the target and things like that. Like, these are food and drink to a striker of his standard. But they took the lead because, like I said, we're playing well. Everybody wants the ball. Saliba's tried a difficult pass. They've intercepted the ball and countered attacked. You know, it's on the edge of our area. It's gone into our box now, and the keeper's kind of brought him down. I don't know how to describe it. You'd have to see the highlights. It's not like a thing where the keeper's run out, he's tried to go around him and he's pulled him down. It was a bit like that, but it weren't. I can't explain it. He's literally the keeper. It looked like the keeper was the one to bring him down. I did think it was a bit of a soft one, but it is a pen. I'm always going to say that. My man steps up, Teddy Jenks, a player that's, you know, very, very highly rated within their setup. 1-0 ahead, and I can't complain. We've shot ourselves in the foot, and this is for these players at this level, whether you're gonna, you know, win leagues or, you know, improve at this level and go off on loan or go under Arteta. You have to learn to not concede cheap goals. You have to learn to take the lead when you have more of the ball. These are the things they need to coach. And we've conceded cheap goals against Southampton. We've conceded cheap goals yesterday against Brighton, and it shot ourselves in the foot. The only benefit I'd say is going 1-0 down, you never saw our heads drop. We kept playing. Fantastic bit of play from George Lewis as well. From George Lewis sees Ben Cottrell eventually in the first half, you know, equalise for us and bring us back into the game. I believe that's 2-2. That's 2-2 for Ben, and you know, he's one of the most underrated players. You know, I'm not saying he's going to be world class, he's going to be this, that, and the other. I think he's going to have a good career. I think he's got a fair chance of making it at Arsenal. The only thing I think he needs to improve in is physically, because he's got the speed of 40. He works very hard. He can play a couple of roles, and he deserved his minutes against MK Dons at first team level. And it seems that, you know, that little reward has put a spring in his step, even though it was there already. And he's playing consistent. You know, he's stepped up. He's got us back in the game. It's 1-1. I can't complain. We're going to half-time at 1-1, and bar the goal we've conceded, I actually think we're doing all right. There are many things we could have done better. I think we can test the keeper a bit more. I think our midfield, you know, I want to see someone kind of grab the game by its neck and dominate a bit more. And, you know, at times Miguel Aziz has been on the field, and I've been asking him to do that, really, and he hasn't done that. But I think it's missing a Miguel or someone like that. I think Oli Inca's working hard. I think Ben Cottrell's operating slightly further forward during the game. So we need someone that's going to, you know, dictate the thing. I think George Lewis looks positive. I think Saliba really impressed me. Like, it weren't amazing. At times he's picking up the ball in areas you can't affect the game. But I was really impressed with him. And I think he's a smart acquisition at this level, as is George Lewis. Now, you know, we came out of the blocks very strong in the second half, I felt. I think we, you know, half-time's always a big one at 1-1. We came out very strong, and we deserved our goal, really and truly, you know. Saliba showed his passing range. Saliba and Balogun were involved, and eventually Oli Inca. It's a very good strike, you know. 2-1, and you know, we're ahead. We've come back from behind. We're doing our thing. We've shot ourselves in the foot, though. Let's say 25 minutes from half time. I mean, from the end of the game. It's a cross from the left hand side from Brighton. You know, their man's unmarked, and he does the rest. And it's another cheap goal to concede. You know, there were some positives, but ultimately we dropped 2 points. Ultimately, we're still in search of that first win. Ultimately, from a possible 6 points, we've got 1. We've now got a defeat and a draw. We need to get it together. If some of you want to go off and play for Arsenal, if some of you want to go out on loan, if some of you want to put yourselves in the shop window, these are the things we need to eradicate, because both goals were avoidable. Similarly, last week was avoidable in terms of the goals we conceded against Southampton. But I think on reflection, a draw is a good point for both teams. Neither team quite done enough to say they earned the 3 points. There was good passage of play. I think it was a good game for the neutrals. You know, I think George Lewis showed little patches of his good thing, his brilliance. I think Ben Cottrell, you know, Mr. Consistent. Really like Soloadin's cameo. Obviously, Saliba is going to take the highlights and whatnot. I want to say, you know, I don't know what's going on with Saliba. Again, we're blooding him in slow. You know, Arteta and that are training him. So if they don't think he's ready, they don't think he's ready. I and a lot of people will say, listen, you know, he's missed about 5 or so months not playing in the French division when it got cancelled. But then, you know, it doesn't hold much weight when you look at Gabriel, you know, and even you could say Gabriel looked a bit rusty to a degree against Fulham early on. So I don't know where it is with Saliba, but based on this game, you know, he demonstrated some lovely passes, really lovely passes. He made some good, convincing tackles. But I'd say at times you're going to see at first team level, you know, he's going to try that difficult pass, and at times it's not going to work. Like, at times I do think he forced it, and that can put pressure on your teammates. So he's going to need to get these little things out of his game. You know, I hope he plays against Leicester in midweek. I think Ben Cottrell deserves to be involved in the matchday squad in some capacity. Again, it's a Premier League side. Again, not every team is fit. Brendan Rodgers might, similar to what you've seen Southampton and West Ham do, there probably will be rotation, but he might say, you know, I'm going to name a strong team for match fitness purposes. So I don't know. But if it was based on the last 2 games, or I'd say 3, including the game against Ipswich, you know, I think George Lewis deserves to be in and around and involved based on how he's played so far this season. It might be a bit early for Saloadin, but, you know, he keeps playing. I'm not saying he's going to have a future at Arsenal, but he might be involved. But, you know, we shot ourselves in the foot, man. It's a good goal from Oli Inca to obviously score. Ben Cottrell keeps his goal scoring record. You know, at the end of the day, everybody came through this injury free, but we're still searching for that first victory of the season at this level. So it is a bit of a bittersweet one. But on that note, people, it's always a pleasure, man. Deluded. I'm out. Getting a comment, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish.